On the line with us, our old buddy Greg Palast, the world-famous investigative, I mean that literally, investigative journalist who, if you go over to gregpalast.com right now, over on the right-hand side of his homepage, there's a little ad that says, Vigilante, Georgia's Vote Suppression Hitman. Stream it for free for a limited time.
Yes.
Greg, welcome back. Tell us about this.
Okay, especially for Hartmann listeners. And Tom, since you're by the way, you're in the credits because without you, this film would not happen. But let me tell you, right now, Jamie Foxx has put up, the actor has put up funds so that we can have a national free screening, virtual online, starting today for the next 2 days. It's free. Just go to vigilantemovie.com, vigilantemovie.com. Thank you, Jamie Foxx. And, of course, thank you, our executive producers, Martin Sheen, George DiCaprio, and Stephen Nemeth. Maria Flores, our producer, she got the Academy Award for Best Documentary already. She says this will be number 2. It's a movie. But you know what? It's Vigilante, even though its subtitle is Georgia's Vote Suppression Hitman. Anyone who thinks that this is just about Georgia, I'm sorry, you haven't been listening to the Hartmann program. You didn't listen to the prior book excerpt. This is the history.
So tell us,
crushing votes.
Why the word vigilante?
Because Brian Kemp, he's the putative governor of Georgia, going for his rematch against Stacey Abrams, signed a bill last year, SB 202, or Jim Crow 2.2 as NAACP calls it, which allows any voter, anyone, to challenge an unlimited number of other voters. So in other words, you're self-appointed vigilantes. And in the film, we even have one guy who likes to dress up like a vigilante. And you can laugh, but he happens to be the chairman of the Republican Party in Columbus, Georgia, and close to Kemp on his state committee. This is a real Republican power. Puts on his 6 guns, loaded, by the way, and challenged 4,000 people, especially soldiers from Fort Benning, which is in Columbus, including, as I've mentioned before, Major Gamaliel Turner, who is in the film, and you get to meet his family. He's assigned to California. He's working on a new weapon for Ukraine, Major Turner, and they challenge his vote, saying you're not a Georgia citizen anymore. Just because he's a soldier assigned to another military base, they refuse to send him his absentee ballot. 4,000 people in Muskogee, Fort Benning, lost their votes to this Republican mass challenge. It got no coverage, except you'll see it in our film. And the other crazy woman who chases me out of her house with her automatic weapons, et cetera, 32,000 voters. We have a list, by the way, Tom, of 168,000 voters challenged by these self-appointed vigilante vote theft hunters. And it's devastating because you have to go into an office to restore your vote. But it's the story of these people, but also of history. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, and that's the point, is that you're going into the history of other vigilantes. They used to call themselves the Ku Klux Klan. Now they call themselves, they dress up in different ways. They're Civil War reenactors, or a guy who likes to dress like a vigilante, like Doc Holliday, who did, by the way, you'll find out in the film, gun down black men in cold blood while they were bathing.
Whoa, tell me that story.
Yeah, well, what happened is Doc Holliday, who is a Georgian, who's portrayed by the Republican Party chairman, he actually went right after Civil War. There were Union troops taking bathing in his local watering hole, and he didn't like it that they were black soldiers. So he literally gunned them down while they're in the water. That's why he head out to the Oklahoma territory. This guy likes to dress like him. Understand? They know they can't wear white sheets anymore. But if you just think, oh, it's a nutcase. These are important. 88 of these vigilantes, every single one is a GOP activist official, usually high-ranking official, who are making these challenges overwhelmingly to black voters and young voters. Like I say, it's 168,000, but it's spreading. In the Georgia law, it says you can put in an unlimited number of voters. This one woman literally handed in a thumb drive because it was too expensive to list 32,000 people. By the way, I showed her the names and photos of people that in the film, of course, show her the names, the photos of the people that she challenged. It said that they are not Georgians. I said, they're your neighbors. Did you call them? Did you go to their houses? Did you notify them? No. They got this all from that group, True the Vote in Texas. The one that came out with 2,000 mules. And they're the ones who came up with these lists of voters to challenge.
Right.
And it's up to the voter to save their vote. So you see that film, but you also see, and today we'll have a story out in Black Gwinnett magazine, that, you know, it was Brian Kemp's family that brought the first enslaved Africans to Georgia. It was a, you know,
That's an amazing story.
But it's an important story because, remember, the governor signed another bill saying you can't teach critical race theory, or as the bill says, you can't teach divisive history. And that's pretty much being
you can't teach the history of Brian Kemp's family in Georgia in the public schools.
You got it.
So Greg, in Georgia, you've got 186,000, if I'm remembering correct, or 168,000 people who have been challenged, and they are not going to be able to vote this week?
Well, okay, it's going to be a battle. And by the way, under this new law, they can challenge you, and there's a big fear from some law professors it's going to be a mass challenge on Election Day, or literally the day after, to mailed-in ballots. And so we don't know. So we know it's at least 168,000 people on the list. Our work has done quite a bit, because a member of the Gwinnett County Board rejected 31,000 challenges. They say that they had read my material. So they're understanding that there's no question that it's a targeting of African Americans. Yeah.
We're talking with Greg Palast, investigative reporter Greg Palast, about his new movie, Vigilante, which for the next 2 days you can watch for free. You can go to gregpalast.com, which most of my listeners are familiar with, and there's a little ad for it in the right-hand corner, the right-hand side of the page there. You can just click on it. It says Vigilante free screening. Or you can go to, what's the website, Greg?
Vigilantemovie.com. Vigilantemovie.com. Again, there's no, you can always donate if you want, but there's no charge.
Right.
And the important thing is that you get this history. And by the way, it is a movie. I mean, Tom, I think you've seen it. So it's a movie. You can eat popcorn. I mean, you might choke on your popcorn a couple times by either laughing or literally it's
and you can stream it, stream it at home on your TV. I mean, most people have the ability to do that. So, Greg, it has this this vigilante effort. Anybody can challenge thousands, tens of thousands of voters in Georgia. Has this spread or begun to spread to other states?
Yes.
Has ALEC taken this up yet as model legislation?
Well, let's put it this way. I just got a call from the election supervisor in Houston, Texas, that's Harris County, asking if he can show the film to his entire staff, because they are preparing for mass vigilante challenges on Election Day. And so he's using it to train his staff, and now Cook County, several elections supervisors. I don't want to make it sound like it's some kind of dry educational film. They just want to be able to get the attention of their staff.
Brilliant film. I mean, it's a drama as much as a documentary. It's brilliantly made. I mean, you've got great production values. You've got, actual Hollywood stars,
Rosario Dawson is narrating. You can't do better. But the thing is that, yes, they're expecting these mass challenges in Texas, Arizona, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida, and I think Alabama. I'll have to check what, we know that Bloomberg has reported that it's now spread to 10 states, but I think our count is getting up to 15. We don't know by Election Day, because while only Georgia is the testing ground for this law that says you can, challenge an unlimited number of voters. Mm-hmm. What these people are doing is they're simply filling out thousands of single sheets. And that's what I'm seeing now in Texas, Arizona, Wisconsin. And by the way, people, please, there are vigilantes out there. It's not just a joke and not just some nutcase in a cowboy hat and pearl-handled guns.
Right.
They can challenge you. Please bring your utility bill, photo ID, something with your current address. And if you're in places like Wisconsin, there's same-day registration. They may not tell you that. They may say, okay, you've been challenged. Say, okay, let me re-register right now. It's down to the wire in Wisconsin, and we know that in the film we talk about the billionaire Bradley family, the new Kochs funding this purge and attack on voters. They are based in Milwaukee, and they're using their powers in Milwaukee to try to knock off voters there too, black voters and student voters in Madison.
Amazing stuff. GregPalast.com, VigilanteMovie.com. Vigilante is the new film, and you can watch it for free today and tomorrow. So check it out. Greg, thanks a lot for dropping by, and thanks so much for making this brilliant movie.
You're very welcome, Tom.
Greg Palast, the great Greg Palast. We will be back. It's coming up on 16 minutes past the hour.